Hi, everyone. I'm Marge Breya, and I am the Chief Marketing Officer of Leadspace, and I'm excited to share with you this webinar on revenue by design. What we'll be talking about is how to up the odds of marketing and sales campaign success. So let's get started. So next slide. So folks, it's always that time of year, and I mean, in sales and marketing, we're always starting a new quarter, ending a new quarter, trying to create demand for the following year, or just even trying to plan. So, every single time it's about either starting strong, like every quarter or a year, or growing better. We're going to assume that you guys are really good at starting strong every quarter, and so what we're going to talk about is how to grow better systematically on an ongoing basis. This has been for me in my career in both B2C and B2B, but very much directly in B2B. This has been a passion for me for 20 years. And so basically, I've always thought about in every one of my jobs how to basically outsmart the competition, create marketing and sales systems that would help folks identify the leads that matter, create leads that actually will close, and help the sales team basically understand what are the deals that are the ones that are most likely going to be the ones that they can count on for revenue going forward. So what I've learned over the years, and I'm sure you guys have no doubt figured this out as well, but closable revenue that is from demand, tons of leads, tons of opportunities, or whatever, but it's all about math. And these days, it's actually pretty easy, or should be pretty easy, for folks to be able to use systems to understand which are the opportunities and the leads that actually will be closable by the business. And what we've identified is that there's really 6 ways to go ahead and increase the odds of building closable demand and closable business. And these 6 steps are all about doing everything from creating the right profile so that you could target the right audience, and then go ahead and categorize or understand which are the right folks to go after, and which are the models to identify and categorize leads, et cetera, that are coming in. Build your campaign so that you can optimize to go after those right kinds of companies and people. Test it so that you can identify the right results, and then do this across both sales and marketing so that the teams can be fully aligned. And I'm very passionate about all 6 of these steps, and would like to share what we found that actually really works and is delivering today results for sales and marketing professionals worldwide. So let's get started with building better buyer profiles. Quite a mouthful, right? I have a note there that says it's not a destination. Profiles actually need to be kept up to date. And when you think about a profile, what's in a profile? The profile itself should include everything from all of the firmographic information that can be, dozens of fields of information about a company or an account or its buying centers, as well as then all of the fields that are really important to understand individual people at those accounts. So a profile of a buyer is not only at the company level or the buying center level, but also at the people level. And when you think about that, you have to think about how are you going to create a unified profile across many systems, keep it up to date, understand things as they're changing, whether it's around engagement, whether it's around did a company get bought, did that individual change jobs or change companies, all of that kind of information. And so, I always ask people if they have a customer data project underway. And the answer is typically yes, which one, right? And it's also then the next question is, have you put in place a customer data platform specifically to bring all of that data together and look across many systems and understand how things are changing? Then the next question is that shared across go-to-market, across both sales and marketing, so that your marketing automation platforms, along with your Salesforce automation platform, are synced, aligned, your sales engagement system to go ahead and qualify leads, etc. And when you think about all of that, when you're building those buyer profiles, there are literally dozens of sources that are needed to build the best profiles. So when we talk about the breadth of data sources, do you have a mix of firmographic sources? Do you have a mix of people along with social expertise, all kinds of things that are around their title, what they tend to follow, the jobs that they've held, etc. Putting that all together. So building a better buyer profile is definitely not a destination. In fact, with the great resignation that folks talk about very much in the news today, we are seeing 5%. You could see 5% of a database or even more change every quarter. And so when you think about it, some people have seen as much as 40% of their profiles change in a significant way over the year. So something to make sure it's not just one-time enrichment, that you're keeping it up to date and understanding what's changing and why. Because don't forget, you use those profiles to spend potentially a significant amount of money against. Think about media buying, salespeople going after certain individuals, etc. So some of the results that we've seen with really great profiles can be improving 13.5% sales capacity because they've got the right information, the right context about an individual. They're going after the right person who is identified with being an appropriate buyer for the company. Additionally, if you're able to route the leads accurately based on the profile and do really great lead to account matching, you'll be getting the right lead to the right salesperson in a very timely manner. And then finally, of course, better contact information per account. Just making it such that you're getting everything from not only the, let's say, the company's main switchboard, old-fashioned term, but main phone number, but also individual, cell phones or extensions and other things that are associated for people within an account. So these results can be significant. Lead to account matching can take a significant amount of time for people when marketing or sales operations teams are having to deal with improper routing, as well as then you can imagine those leads actually become kind of stale because they may be sitting in a queue, etc. The next thing is to, from the get-go, target your ideal buyer and your total addressable market. Many folks think of this as a nice to have but not need to have. The truth of the matter is that advanced companies today start with not only territory assignments, but marketing campaigns that are very clearly aligned across, frankly, both organizations, sales and marketing, to their total addressable market and then their ideal buyer within that market. So which are the companies that that are really great from a lookalike standpoint? Um, meaning you look at your best the companies that have bought your product and best represent closable business or business that's closed within your company, and developing a model, and typically called a propensity to buy model, or an ideal buyer profile that shows the types of folks that convert the best, the kind of signals to look at to understand those folks. Is it from the technology they buy, the size of the company, the industry, their technical interests, or expertise? Many different things can be used as a signal for to identify and categorize lookalike buyers within an entire market. So it's also important when you're thinking about that and you're setting up territories or new campaigns. What are the regions of the world that might have the right buyer profile that you might want to open up next, etc. So again, the whole point is if you can go ahead and have sales and marketing align around the total addressable market and the ideal buyer within that market, it's magic, right? Because you're no longer eyeballing segmentation or eyeballing new territories. You're actually using math and data to make this happen. Some of the results you can see here. So I'll just give a quick example. One of our largest accounts got more than a 2.5 times lift over what their normal conversion would be for account-based marketing account activity. Now, you guys are probably aware that account-based marketing typically has a much higher conversion anyway. So we were able to, by having the TAM and the ideal buyer profile identified to select the ABM accounts, we're able to more than double the performance of those campaigns and opportunities. The other thing is that if you can identify the model, you can go ahead and get repeatable scale, because you could look for accounts in regions and territories and markets, etc., that are lookalike to that profile. And so many for example, our product offers the ability to go ahead and put in, if you wanted to just even just type in 5, 10, etc. accounts that are your best accounts, and look for, through many signals, a lookalike, to see how many companies actually look like that company in a market, etc. The other thing here is I always think about how to optimize media spend with this. When I think about account-based marketing, I think about putting more and more money against the types of accounts that are strategic and very likely for our company to be able to do business with. So usually our media spend will be put into those kind of accounts. If you can go ahead and identify those accounts very statistically and mathematically, you can get a much better return on investment for $1 into media. And so again, witness the 2.5 times above. The next part is when you're creating your buyer models, right? That ideal buyer profile and that propensity, you also want to go ahead and add to it a few more models. And you might first do that ideal buyer profile at the company level for your company. But then you might have products that are high volume enough or large enough in revenue for your company to do product specific propensity models, or even region specific propensity models, and then product or region specific persona and intent models too. So as an example, there's a large company that we work with in the tech market that we have developed multiple propensity models for each product. And so they have large products. One that would be one that was very much associated with a certain kind of marketing professional, and one associated with a very different kind of marketing professional. And as you can imagine, the intent topics and other things like that would be very different for both of those two products and buyers. So when you're creating these buyer models, then you want to be able to hone in on getting literally if you can, a product or even regional specific view on this, so that you can use math to shape things not only at a general level, but a very specific level. Very, very important. And by the way, guys, this stuff is not does not take a long time to do. That example I just gave you, we did within 90 days in an account. Actually, under that, I think it was more accurately closer to about 75 days. So when you're thinking about these buyer models, the other thing to think about, right, is how many different things will affect your segmentation, right? Does industry or tech install or certain engagements fit the scoring and the models? We, for example, are working with some of our clients who take a propensity score, where we've identified together with them the top 25% of the leads that will likely represent 60% plus of their business. And what the companies have decided to do is give, for example, a high number of points in a scoring system for folks who fit those A or B categories that I just mentioned. And then more points associated with, are they the right persona, from a persona model. And again, persona models, we, for example, have 80 plus off the shelf today, but you can create, or we can create with you, very specific persona models as well. Give, let's say, 25 points to folks who have a tight fit there. And then also look at who are the companies that are in market or have high intent, either first party or third party, meaning third party may have bought it from a company, or have it included like from Leadspace, or first party intent, where we can look at, are people from those companies actually visiting your website, and add up all those scores. And you might decide that when a lead comes in, you're not going to even ask it to attend another webinar or do something else from an engagement standpoint. You might go ahead and fast track that directly to either sales development people or salespeople directly. And you might want to fast track all of that, right? So you think about what those models could do, and then what you can do from an A/B testing standpoint, which we'll talk about a little bit later, to put all of that together to decide how you use math to really narrow the results that you need to focus on, and where you put your money to get the best results. So here's an example of a couple of the different results that we've been able to deliver with our clients today. From an account conversion standpoint, one of our B2B customers saw almost a 6x lift, meaning if they normally would have had maybe a 2 or 3% conversion in a campaign, by focusing on those A and B leads that would be 25% of the best leads, they saw a 5.7x times that conversion rate associated with those A and B accounts. That's pretty amazing when you look at it. The next thing then is really focus, right, with those A and B accounts. If you can focus on companies that are lookalike to those A and B accounts, or that profile, you can go ahead and then scale that in a huge way to focus in your media spend, et cetera, right there. And then obviously, the alignment can be spectacular across marketing and sales campaigns, because you are getting the scores and the signals together as you create a campaign, as you route leads that you know will convert, and then identify opportunities for sales that will close. The next area then is, as you're building your campaigns, how to optimize them. And the key thing is, I've been a chief marketing officer at a ton of different companies for many years. And, even today, marketing organizations around the world say, when they're putting together a marketing campaign, oh, really what we're looking for are small and medium enterprises in, let's say, these 3 industries at the director level, and let's go ahead and shoot this campaign out to them. Well, today's state of the art, performance marketing actually demands something much better than that, or can achieve much better than that. We are able to, as I've been describing, able to go ahead and target those campaigns, especially the ones where you're spending tens, hundreds, or even thousands of dollars per person on, by propensity, by persona, and intent, to go ahead and hone in on exactly the right people for those campaigns, and then maybe use a more broad brush campaign approach for low cost investments like email marketing or things like that. And then finally, as you look at it, you also want to be able to understand how this means, how this affects your regional marketing or sales activities as well. So many times, in terms of regions around the world, titles can be very different country by country. And if you're able to go ahead and have persona models that cut across, that actually cut through titles and identify the interest, the expertise, and even use AI to do some semantic modeling around who those people are, so that you're not just relying on simply titles to select the people. All of these ideas here take the guesswork out of creating campaigns. And again, many marketing campaign leaders obviously have great instincts and have gotten results. We believe, and certainly have demonstrated with some of the best B2B marketers in the world, that you can double, quadruple, and more your results by using these kind of techniques and frankly, math. The kind of results, right? Obviously, you've got anything from fact-based campaign planning and ABM, math-based, frankly, even stronger than fact-based. You're able to go ahead and identify audience members for campaigns, from a sales and marketing standpoint, that actually use math to get those right lookalike customers. And then finally, the fit scores can tell you when you put more money into an individual, and when the right time is from an intent standpoint, or at the right buyer showing up on your website or at your events, etc., to go ahead and prioritize either marketing or sales resources. And something to think about. A lot of folks have used intent in a huge way to up the bet, or up the odds for marketing results or sales results. The truth of the matter is, intent, unless it's brought down to an individual person, typically lives at a company level. And so trying to find that person within the company who actually was looking for your kind of stuff is pretty tough. So that's why we think of intent as being certainly very important, but the whole idea is get the TAM, the ideal buyer profile and propensity figured out, then make sure it's the right kind of person from a persona standpoint, and then you add on intent to say, and this person slash company appears to be in the market. So that's the way we look at all of this. The next thing is to put your model to the test, right? That this whole buyer model. A/B testing is super important, and the reason I like to use A/B testing, obviously, to test content, the whole words, et cetera, that you use for call to actions and CTAs, but also to go ahead and look at how should you change your scoring models to either directly put somebody in touch with sales or sales development, or decide that nope, we want to keep them, um, you know, you know, getting a little bit more information until they raise their hand in a little bit more ways, so that we identify that now's the time for us to put way more money against a lead or prospect. So that A/B testing is very important, and you'll be able to decide whether you should prioritize just A leads or B leads or C leads or a combination, whether your personas, if one is more powerful than another, and then how much intent actually plays into the close rates or conversion rates of your campaigns. All of this, of course, it sounds really complicated, but it's actually honestly pretty simple when you have the models and you can kind of see them all in action, right? You've got your profiles that have the great data in there. Then you have your models sorting through your leads and helping you create better campaigns, so that, as we're saying, you can go ahead and identify the right audience, route the right leads for conversion, and then prioritize the right opportunities with your salespeople. The next thing then, if you think about this from a result standpoint here with buyer models, is there's a ton of stuff, right? You're going to be able to go ahead and do many things, like I mentioned, around the A/B testing to figure out just how much engagement is needed. But you also then can decide perhaps where you're going to do retargeting. Maybe you only do retargeting for A accounts or A leads or A targets, right? And you'll put your B targets in, SEM campaigns within LinkedIn or other things like that, and you'll use email marketing or other low cost efforts to go ahead and invest in C&D leads, for example. Finally, then it's all about aligning marketing and sales and measuring what you manage. So this alignment is very important, because if you can share the account scoring, the persona fits, and the intent, meaning do they seem to be in the market right now, with both marketing and sales, you've got marketing creating the demand that aligns with all of that model using the math, and sales then acting on all of that demand that marketing brings in. Not to mention, as they're prospecting and doing their own demand generation and creating opportunities for their pipeline, they then can look at, is this account they were thinking about going after an A or B account? Who's the right persona fit within that account? Would Jane be better than Bob, or vice versa, right? All of that kind of good stuff. So that alignment is critical. And the kind of results that you get there, of course, are priceless. I mean, I wanted to write priceless, but I thought that would be a little bit too, too much. But again, if you've got marketing campaigns delivering against an audience with the right leads, that the sales development reps then are very, very likely to convert. They're going to pick those right leads then. And then you've got the sales team then getting many more opportunities because the conversion rate is going up on leads. And because you've been able to get your marketing teams to focus their dollars in the right area, the sales development reps then are qualifying those leads that are very likely to convert to business. And then the sales team can go ahead and look at all of the opportunities and focus on the ones that are most likely to close in any given quarter. So this is how sales and marketing then can be aligned across all of these areas. So guys, the results here, it's a 6-step process that we recommend. It's build, target, create, optimize, test, and align. And we've seen this now with many, many large and medium-sized and even small B2B companies. And we're confident that you can deliver far better results and create closable business. So this is what we would love to work with you on. Excuse me, easy for me to say. We're really good at finding, creating, and accelerating closable revenue and helping you create the demand that will deliver that by design. And I would love to tell you more about it and let us know if we can help. So thank you very much.